let's get started with our first news. During a recent sit-down with No Time, Javier Mendes revealed what he believes is Ilia's biggest weakness. According to Mendes, Ilia is one of the most dangerous fighters in MMA today, but even he has certain areas where he can be exposed. Javier began by acknowledging just how elite Ilia's boxing is. Ilia, he said, I would say with him, you have to stay out of boxing range. 1,000,000% stay out of it. He's got the best boxing in the business in MMA. He's got it so much that he even thinks he can beat Crawford. That's how confident he is in his hands. His boxing's good, real good. Mendes explained that while Ilia's boxing is top tier, it's exactly what makes him so dangerous. You can't stay in front of him. You have to work your kicks, your angles, your knees. Muay Thai would be a great tool to use against him, he continued. The big task is to keep him away from you. Because once he closes the distance, he's a problem. He didn't stop there. Javier went on to break down other aspects of Ilia's game, saying that the Spanish-Georgian fighter is almost the complete package. He's got decent wrestling. And from people I've spoken to who've trained with him, he's also got pretty solid Jiu-Jitsu, so he's not just a boxer. He can handle himself on the ground, too. He's got the tools to survive anywhere. But even with all those strengths, Mendes pointed out the one area where Ilia still has room to grow. He lacks in the kicking area, he revealed. That's his weakest link. If you can exploit that, you might have a chance to neutralize some of his boxing power. Javier also mentioned that while Ilia's ground game is good, it's still somewhat untested at the highest level. You have to test your grappling with him, Mendes said. See if yours is better than his. We've yet to see how great it really is. It's not bad, but it's not proven to be elite either. In short, Mendes painted a clear picture. Ilia is incredibly dangerous, especially in boxing range. But for the few willing to take the risk, there's a path to victory by keeping distance, attacking with kicks, and challenging him in grappling exchanges. Move on to another news.RDR's coach has finally broken his silence following his fighter's tough UFC loss this past weekend. RDR's rise through the middleweight division came to a sudden halt on Saturday night when his coach, Harun Oskan, threw in the towel after the fourth round of his bout against Brendan Allen. The decision sparked plenty of debate among fans, but now Oskan has spoken out, offering an honest explanation for why he made that call. Taking to Instagram, Harun shared a heartfelt message with fans and supporters. He began by saying, "Friends, fans, and supporters, I normally don't share personal things on here, but I feel I owe everyone an explanation. First of all, thank you for the amazing support we've received. It's been a crazy and busy year so far. Last night didn't go as we wanted. After a strong start in the first round, things quickly started to fade. We couldn't recover from the shots in and after the second round. I made the call to stop the fight after the fourth round. I take full responsibility for that decision, and it was the right call for me in that moment." He continued, "It's not a decision I ever wanted to make, but sometimes you just have to. My job is not only to coach, but to protect my fighter. I've been with RDR for basically his whole career, and I saw too many signs that made me step in. If I didn't do anything, he would have kept fighting, and I couldn't allow that. Rather than risk unnecessary damage, I decided to call it a night and go home as healthy as possible. Live to fight another day." Oskan made it clear that his choice was about safety, not pride. "I absolutely do not care about pleasing others if it comes at the cost of someone's health," he said. "There's a thin line between being tough and watching out for your well-being. This sport can be brutal. These fighters sacrifice so much of their life in and out of the cage. There's no need for extra damage if it can be avoided. People forget these athletes are human too." He wrapped up by saying there were zero excuses for the loss. "We're not happy with the performance," he admitted. "But for now, it's about recovery first. We'll evaluate, rebuild, and come back stronger next year. It's been an amazing year overall. I'm proud of you, my brother RDR. We've come a long way. Thank you to everyone for the continued love and support." Move on to another news Islam. Makhachev has multiple game plans for his upcoming fight with JDM at UFC 322. While most fans and analysts expect Islam to rely heavily on his world-class wrestling and relentless grappling, it seems that might not be the full story. According to his teammate Umar, Islam has prepared for every possible scenario inside the octagon. Heading into UFC 322, many view this matchup as the classic striker versus grappler showdown. JDM's crisp boxing, brutal body shots, and long reach give him a dangerous edge on the feet, while Islam's suffocating control and elite takedowns have broken countless opponents in the past. But according to Umar, Islam is not coming into this fight as a one-dimensional grappler. He's coming with options and a plan for everything. Speaking with MMA Junkie, Umar shared, "Islam is in amazing shape. This guy is a very smart fighter. I'm his friend and I can tell you he doesn't just have one plan. He has plan A, B, C, the whole alphabet. He's ready for every situation. If something doesn't work, he immediately switches to another. If that one doesn't work either, he goes to the next one. He's an amazing fighter and an amazing friend. I truly believe he will take this belt. He deserves it." Umar's words remind everyone that Islam's evolution as a fighter has gone far beyond his wrestling roots. Over the years, he's developed sharp striking, calm cage control, and the ability to adapt mid-fight, a trait only the very best in the sport possess. While the narrative still paints Islam as a grappling specialist, he's proven time and again that his striking can hang with elite competition. The MMA world is also eager to see how Islam performs at welterweight for the first time. Moving up from lightweight, questions remain about how his strength, speed, and endurance will translate against bigger, longer opponents like JDM. Still, every report from his training camp suggests that Islam looks stronger, faster, and more comfortable than ever before. Recent photos of Islam meeting with veterans like Alistair Overeem and working alongside teammates such as Usmanov have fueled excitement among fans. With UFC 322 just around the corner, one thing's for sure. Islam isn't relying on a single path to victory. He's coming fully prepared, with multiple game plans ready to execute, no matter what happens inside that cage. Move on to another news. Khamzat has reportedly confronted Petr Yan over recent comments that stirred up unexpected tension between the two fighters. Just weeks after Khamzat's dominant title victory, things took a personal turn when Yan made remarks questioning Khamzat's national identity. It all began when Petr publicly congratulated Khamzat on capturing the UFC belt. But soon after, he clarified that he doesn't consider him a Russian champion, pointing out that Khamzat now fights under the UAE flag after officially gaining citizenship in January 2025. That statement didn't sit well with Khamzat, especially since the two have known each other and even trained together in the past. Speaking to Alanbek Badov, Khamzat responded with fire and conviction, saying he's proud to be Russian and that nothing can ever change that. He reminded everyone that he grew up in Russia, built gyms there, helped train young athletes, and gave back to his community, something he emphasized he hasn't yet done for the UAE. "I've given everything to my homeland," Khamzat said passionately, "and that doesn't disappear just because I live somewhere else or fight under a different flag." In his response, Khamzat didn't shy away from taking a jab at Yan, calling his remarks ironic and even poking fun at his last name, suggesting that someone with a Chinese-sounding surname shouldn't question a Chechen's Russian identity. The tension clearly ran deep, and the situation only escalated further when Yan's manager, Sayat, added fuel to the fire. During an interview with Ushadeka, Sayat confirmed the rumors. Yes, Khamzat did confront Petr Yan in person. According to him, the two had a serious face-to-face discussion about the matter. Sayat hinted that the conversation wasn't exactly friendly, describing it as intense but respectful. He also revealed that the two men are expected to meet again soon, though the reason for that meeting wasn't made clear. What's evident, however, is that Khamzat took Yan's comments personally. For Khamzat, it's not just about fighting inside the cage, it's about respect, identity, and pride. Despite gaining UAE citizenship, his roots remain deeply tied to Russia, and he's made it clear that no one, not even a former champion like Petr Yan, can take that away from him. The MMA world now watches closely to see whether this feud stays verbal or turns into something much bigger. Move on to another news that Belal Muhammad has once again made headlines after calling out Garry for what he claims is blatant ducking. After months of trading verbal jabs online, the two are finally set to meet inside the octagon on November 22nd. But even with the fight officially signed, Belal isn't holding back his criticism. Following his loss to JDM for the welterweight title back in May, Garry quickly began campaigning for a fight with Belal. The former champion accepted without hesitation, but according to him, Garry delayed and made excuses before finally agreeing. In a recent appearance on the No Scripts podcast, Belal revealed that Garry specifically requested their fight to be scheduled for the Qatar card. And, more importantly, for it to be only 3 rounds. This should be a 5-round fight, Belal said firmly. So what happened? Why is it 3 rounds? The coward didn't want 5 rounds. He's afraid. He saw what happened in his last fight with Rodriguez, and he knows that 5 rounds with me is going to be hell. He knows I'll break him. Belal explained that he didn't have much of a choice. Because he wasn't willing to take the fight, I had two options: sit on the sidelines or accept 3 rounds. So I said, fine, I'll take it. My mindset is to break him. I'm going to finish him. I'll start faster this time, push the pace, and he's going to fold. There's no other outcome. The Chicago native continued to blast Garry for what he sees as hypocrisy. For him to talk about being a champion, about wanting greatness, but then being afraid to go 5 rounds. That's not what champions do. He should take that out of his vocabulary. The November 22nd event will take place just 1 week after Islam Makhachev defends his newly captured welterweight title against JDM at UFC 322. Belal was also asked to give his prediction for that matchup, and he didn't hesitate. I think Islam can finish JDM on the ground, he said. We saw what happened with Duplessis. If you've never felt that Dagestani-style wrestling before, you don't want your first experience to be against Islam. Their grappling is different. Even in my fight with JDM, he made mistakes on the ground. Islam will exploit that. Belal closed by saying he's ready, focused, and planning to make a statement, whether it's in 3 rounds or 5. Move on to another news. Tom Aspinall has made it clear. He wants to be an active champion. After a long layoff of more than a year, the heavyweight king is finally ready to return to action, and he's not planning to slow down anytime soon. Aspinall is set to defend his title against Cyril Gane in the main event of UFC 321 on October 25th in Abu Dhabi. The bout marks his first appearance since July 2024, when he delivered a devastating first-round finish over Curtis Blades. It will also be his first defense as the undisputed heavyweight champion, following John Jones's brief retirement and subsequent decision to vacate the belt. In a recent UFC video, Aspinall spoke with confidence about his future and his mindset going into the fight. I've always been in the gym, he said, but it's nice to have a goal, to have an opponent. I just want to be the kind of champion who fights often, regularly, and faces the best guys. I don't want to be one of those champions who takes long breaks between fights. That's what's been happening, and it's time to change that. He went on to emphasize that staying active isn't just a preference, it's part of his identity as a champion. I'm ready to put a stop to all that downtime. I want to be an active champion, a defending champion. I want to stay sharp, keep improving, and give the fans the fights they deserve. When speaking specifically about his upcoming opponent, Aspinall gave Gane full respect. He's the #1 contender, Aspinall said. And that's what a true champion does. You fight the next best guy. I'm the champion, he's the next in line. Let's fight and find out who's really the best. That's the way it's supposed to be. He also acknowledged the unique challenge that Gane presents. Cyril is a really good opponent, he admitted. He's unique. I've never fought anyone like him before. His style is different from everyone else in the division, but at the same time, he's never fought anyone like me either. That's what makes this matchup so exciting, focused, motivated, and hungry to keep the division moving. Tom Aspinall seems determined to bring consistency and activity back to the heavyweight throne, something fans have been waiting to see for a long time. Move. On to another news. Mike Malott has finally addressed the controversial moment that took place during his recent UFC fight. The Canadian standout picked up the biggest win of his career at UFC Vancouver. But what everyone is still talking about isn't the victory itself. It's the series of low blows that Kevin Holland suffered during the bout. The fight had fans, commentators, and even fellow fighters debating what really happened, and Malott himself admitted afterward that the situation was, in his words, a bit of an odd one. If you watch the fight, you know exactly what went down. Early in the opening round, the referee stopped the action twice due to alleged low blows. The second one in particular had the crowd buzzing. Holland appeared to be in serious pain and took the full 5 minutes allowed by the rules to recover before deciding to continue. The break between rounds ended up being even longer than usual, as officials discussed whether Holland could keep fighting at all. During the second stoppage, Malott signaled that his knee had landed above the groin, while the fans booed loudly as the replay played on the big screen. Speaking to reporters after the event, Malott gave his take on the situation, saying he believes both things can be true, that his strike was legal, but that Holland still got hurt. Maybe I'm crazy, Malott said, but my knee hit him in the hip, right above the belt line. He's just so tall, man. The dude is all limbs. His hips are so high it's hard to get that knee up clean. I'm sure my shin caught him in the groin a bit. I bet it hurt. I don't think he was being dramatic. I'm sure it was bugging him. But yeah, it's one of those things. You can't control it. You just have to reset and focus. As for Holland, he was clearly frustrated after the loss. He took to X, posting several emotional messages like, "No doubt about it," "We suck," and "Never bet on me again." He even joked about the incident, writing, "Bro kicked the STD into my nuts. Hurt like hell." Despite the controversy, Malott's win moves him onto a 3-fight winning streak and improves his record to 4 victories in his last 5 outings. Holland, meanwhile, drops to 2-3 in his last 5. It was a strange night, full of tension and confusion, but for Mike Malott, it still ended in the biggest victory of his career.